Hello, I'm Claire Robertson, and welcome to After LUTV News, where we will discuss interesting topics in news and pop culture with our panel of LUTV news reporters. According to a study published in June by the American Psychological Association, high school seniors' trust law enforcement has declined in recent years. Researchers feel discussions of unjust policing causes many to question police behavior. Recent incidents such as the shooting of an unarmed woman by a police officer in Fort Worth has raised safety concerns. Yet, a Pew Research survey suggests more than half of Americans feel facial recognition tools should be used by law enforcement. Panel, does your peer group and family trust law enforcement? And if not, what should be done to reestablish that trust?
All right, so when I first heard about the Fort Worth shooting, my general feelings were like a feeling of numbness and disappointment that it happened again. Basically, these shootings, they have become similar to our mass shooting epidemic in this country. It's very difficult to have a conversation about this on a national level because when we do, we divide ourselves to camps, and it's just very difficult to come up with solutions.
Okay. Speaking on me and my family's behalf, we struggle to trust law enforcement, and our society is influenced by the internet and news media, and there's video evidence of police brutality and shootings of unarmed citizens, and it's all over the internet, and it's just hard to turn a blind eye and not be scared from police, and it's causing an uproar amongst citizens and has put fear into people. As far as what should be done to reestablish the trust, I feel like because of the bad cops, the good cops have to work twice as hard to connect with the community and to gain that trust. And for example, I was reading an article on the News Tribune, which a cop named Kevin Martin, he is a cop in Washington, and he organized for Sumner Skate Park to be brought back to life. And the skate park was falling apart. But for Martin, having a skate park is an opportunity to connect to local youth and just keep them out of the street, and for him to be a positive role model. So yeah.
I just feel like it really depends on the situation. I'm an on-campus student. I live in Monroe Hall. I have many instances where I had to deal with law enforcement for not bad reasons, but I needed to go from one place to another, and I don't feel safe when it's after dark and I have to go across campus and I don't have a ride from friends, so it's just I have to call LUPD about it, and it's just the simple fact that waiting so long for them to even take me from point A to point B that's not far is just kind of upsetting, because why would it take you so long to even pick up a student that lives on campus? But in terms of off campus, I feel like it's still the same way. It really depends on the situation. After everything that happened recently, I do feel disheartened, like he said, because this is becoming so much a commonality, like it's happening every single day. And not every single story that happens like this gets on national news. So it's just something that I believe law enforcement needs to work on. In terms of trying to fix it, sometimes it's that simple fact that you don't know if they're doing it just because they feel like they want to just make it seem like they don't sometimes they don't do it out of the kindness of their hearts, like they're actually good people. Like sometimes they just want to do it because for the internet. And that's what I believe. That's why I feel like even if we do think about some certain solutions for this, it's sometimes not going to help.
Based on what you said about sometimes these stories don't reach national attention, I think most people are relieved, like in the case of Botham Jean, that he received some kind of justice with that cop being sentenced to prison. But for this case that we mentioned in the intro, an unarmed black woman being shot in her home, we don't know how it's going to play out. And I think people are exhausted of these stories not coming to any kind of fruition or justice. And Ricky, you said something about these conversations causing division and people being divided into camps. Mm-hmm. What do you think those camps are, and what's keeping us from being united as people looking to live in safer communities? It's a complicated question.
Yes, it is.
It
Very
is.
complicated. It's something we can't just solve here on our own.
Right.
We have to stop putting ourselves into different camps and actually have a conversation about this. This is the only way to fix it.
Yeah, it's not like a definite answer it's not a yes or no answer or a one-sided answer. It's just more of like, it depends on the different person that speaks and their beliefs and stuff of that sort.
So what would help you and your families and your friends start to reestablish trust in law enforcement?
For me,
If anything.
For me, what I think, it starts with the individual. Not everybody can do everything. It starts at training. I think there needs to be more emphasis on de-escalation techniques. That more in general, and a better emphasis on community policing, because that's another tool to help establish trust in communities.
I do agree with him saying that there needs to be more training done, because I read a blog from a cop that said that he's a trainer in training police, and he is trying different tactics. So I do feel like training is like a big, part of that.
I would say training is always good, but like Ricky said, it does start with the individual, the person, because nothing gets done if it's just one person doing something, and then people act up on it. Training is always the answer, or always a possible solution. I recently seen a video on social media where this police officer was training, and then a person said under it saying, "You're doing all of this training, but there's still cops out here shooting unarmed people of color, or just people in general." So it's just something that not only training is always a solution for. It's just something that, other than just physical training, for instance, it can be something that they could sit down and talk about, and maybe have a meeting, or saying, like, with the community people, saying how they feel and how they can act upon that.
How do you think law enforcement is reacting to these news of possible police brutality in conjunction with news stories about violence towards law enforcement? Because they probably feel threatened as they're going out on their job in their uniforms that are easily recognizable, knowing that the community doesn't place its trust or feel safe around them. How do you think they're responding to these?
I definitely feel like they feel attacked. Like, just for the bad cops, all of them are represented now. So yeah, I definitely feel like they do feel attacked.
I feel like they feel attacked as well, because of the simple fact that, it's this Black Lives Matter versus Blue Lives Matter type of issue going
When
on
really,
right now.
I don't think those have to be at opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yes.
Why are these opposite issues?
I think they're just making it more than what it is. I mean, it is a big situation. It is a big thing that's happening right now. But I just don't like the simple fact that, Black Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter, when it's like, we're all people, So it's just...
We all matter.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, well, thank you guys. Thank you, panel, and thank you for turning in to After LUTV News. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter for more LUTV content. See you next time.